Hello, my name is Jay and welcome to N.G.N.R 94.7 National Gridiron News Radio, as we have a major announcement to make. A new football league. With coronavirus and everything that's gone wild, we needed some good news, and well, there's a new league called the American Gridiron League. I didn't expect this. I really did not. I don't think anyone did. It's mind-boggling. And really, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. So, the teams in the Western Conference will be the Boulder City Bighorn, the Salt Lake City Stampede, the Ralston Rivermen, the Meridian Miners, the Bar None Bison, and the Austin N.G.N.Rs. Wow, they fell flat on the last one, didn't they? I see what they were doing there until Austin. And then for the Eastern Conference, the Sanford Sailors, the Seaford... Wow, a lot of forts. Sanford Sailors, the Seaford Statesmen, the Hardyville Hounds, the Albany Ambitions, the Columbus Colonials, and the Orlando Orbit. So not only is the Austin N.G.N.Rs the only team to not have that wordplay, they're also in the biggest state for football. They're too good for that. Maybe that's why Texas just thinks they're too good. Or maybe they just happen to choose my last name, Austin. Who knows? Maybe they knew we would be talking about them. Anyways, in big news, the draft's coming up right now to decide the teams. And what I mean by that is they're going to decide the players. Let's just get right into it. And with the first pick, the Sanford Sailors are on the clock. By the way, if you want to know where these cities are, let me know down in the comments down below, and I can give you some information, because I actually had to look into it myself. But let's get right into it with the first overall pick. Colin Wickham has been selected. And let's take a look for the internet users that are watching the show. Who is Colin Wickham? Well, Colin Wickham's a stud. He has a very accurate arm. He is one of the smartest people we've seen. He's super competitive. The dude's just a baller. And he's 27 years old, so he's got quite a bit of time left. Very interested to see how this turns out. Alright, and by the way, if you want to know who I'm voting for, I'm going to be voting for the Meridian Miners. And if you're wondering why, I can give you quite a few reasons. Well, A, they're a team in the Northwest. We're from the Northwest. B, they're reminding the Houston Oilers. The baby powder blue and the red. Mwah, beautiful. And C, Boise State. And you might be wondering, what does Boise State have to do with the Meridian Miners? Well, they're both in Idaho. That's genuinely all I got. Don't judge me, okay? I'm just a guy who does radio, so I apologize. And with the second overall pick, because we just got in, David Chapman, a guard. A guard was selected. Holy crap. 2 Oklahoma players, by the way, picked in a row. The 24-year-old guard, a great run blocker with great work ethic, and he's strong, but a guard was picked second overall? So we got an Oklahoma State player and an Oklahoma player. By the way, if you're wondering, the salary cap, I believe, is $1 million. And that's why you're seeing $140,000 for a quarterback and $130,000 for a guard. Never mind. I can't blame the Colin Wickham pick. Apparently a quarterback's only at $10,000 more expensive than a guard. That's crazy. And that's ignoring the fact that that's what? That's a tenth of the salary cap? Also, in the news, New York, the I don't know why it says New York. The Stanford Sailors drafted Colin Wickham #1 in the 2020 draft. The 6'1" quarterback fits the team's needs perfectly, said Sailors general manager. It's up to us to develop him and get good players around him. The great thing about the game of football is it's a team game, Wickham said on a conference call. I'm just going to be one piece of the puzzle. And on the clock are the Boulder City Bighorn. Colorado State might be a little bit heated about that name. As well as Colorado. Colorado and Colorado State might have some heat about that. And with the third pick, Brian Hogg. What a redneck name if I've ever heard one. $127.5 thousand. Brian Hogg, also 27 years old, 6'2", so he's a bit taller than Wickham. 233 pounds. He's got a very strong arm. He's pretty dang smart. His accuracy is easily his weakest point if you're talking about as a pocket quarterback. The big thing, the reason he didn't go #1 is because he's a bad influence. Anyways, the Ralston Rivermen are up next. And with the 4th pick, Dwight Hathaway has been selected. And he's the most expensive quarterback so far. 28 years old. He's the definition of balance, but he is easily the most experienced quarterback in terms of knowing how to play the position. Athletically, intelligently, who knows? But he has the most experience as a starting quarterback of any of them. Also, he's from Boise State. Represent the Northwest, young man. And with the 5th pick, the Seaford Statesmen select Gerard Mead, a pass rusher potentially. A lot of these players I've never heard of personally. But Gerard Mead, I'm hearing, is a great bull rusher. He's 6'3", 280 pounds, but he is pure muscle at 25 years old with that strength. From what I'm hearing, he's a great bull rusher as well as a great human being in general. Being a great leader, being very competitive, being absolutely a team player. And he has a great disposition. He's got a lot of experience for a young man of knowing how to play that defensive tackle position. So I'm assuming they're going to run a 4-3 in Seaford. And the Columbus Colonials are on the clock. And they select Edward Tenney, a running back, has gone in the top 6. Edward Tenney is only 24 years old, but this man is absolutely electric. He's fairly strong for being 258 pounds. I'm just going to edit that real quick. Where do I edit that? Yeah, let's just do that real quick. Oh, now he looks stupid. And the Colonials select Edward Tenney. The dude's a superstar. He may be a running back, but the dude is 6'2", 218, a bit big for a running back, you wouldn't believe, but he is fairly strong. Absolutely a speed demon with great agility, decent hands. The dude can do a little bit of everything. Pretty boy. Think of a cheap man's Christian McCaffrey, except taller. The dude's a workhorse. He is absolutely competitive. Great sportsmanship. Pretty decent understanding of the halfback position. He even knows a little bit of fullback if you need him to play fullback for some reason. Say you find a steal at halfback and you want to run a Maryland offense or something. He can do that. And now our Meridian Miners are on the clock. And we got to figure out who they're going to try to look at. They could go for just about anybody with this pick. There's a lot of running backs available. There's a tackle that could be a franchise guy for them. I think that would be a fun one to see, get a premier left tackle. Another kid they could look at would be Craig Hope, the 6'3", 256-pound quarterback with a cannon arm and some agility. He can roll around. He has a lot of experience for being a young man. And the dude's just work ethic out of the kazoo. He reminds me of a Marcus Mariota in terms of personality, where he's a great person, but I don't know if he's the kind of leader you're looking for. You feel me? There's also Steiner, who doesn't have as much of the personality, but boy, does that guy have what you need at quarterback in terms of athletic ability. And he's never played pro ball, but the dude's the perfect quarterback in terms of, like, just absolute craziness. There's also James Robertson, who has the biggest arm I've ever seen. The dude may be 24, and he may be small, but that dude has a cannon. I'm telling you, I don't think they should go for quarterback. Now that I look through the quarterback list, there are so many quarterbacks that would be amazing. You also got Valdez, who has an amazing arm and the personality. I'd say you wait it out, because there are so many quarterbacks. And what they need right now would be someone who can protect that quarterback they're going to be probably getting next round. And they do exactly that. They select Christopher Tracy, 25 years old, the strongest, I don't know if he's the strongest player in the draft, but probably the strongest tackle in the class. Needs to work on the intelligence aspects a little bit. Great blocker, decent speed. The dude's super athletic overall, though. He's got great work ethic, great competitiveness, sportsman, got great disposition. He can play. He's a veteran at the tackle position. Could fill in at guard, and if you're in an emergency situation, he can play even center. He's played all three positions. He's played on both sides. He's super versatile. The problem is he needs to learn the full position, because he's versatile, but he needs to learn the technique aspects. We got quite a few picks left, surprisingly. A big league, even though it's in a small location. Maybe that's how they can afford it. And Blaine Valdez, the guy you know Meridian was looking at, is taken. Oh no. He may not be the most start right now quarterback, but the guy has got a great personality. He's got a great arm. He is arguably, even though he hasn't played a down of pro football, he might be the most accurate quarterback in the entire league. And he honestly has the accuracy to play in the NFL. I think he could be a backup or third string in the NFL. And that's the crazy thing. Orlando has a arguably NFL talent, but the guy's a 24-year-old rookie that has a long way to go in terms of experience and in terms of intelligence. Salt Lake City selects William Steiner. And a run of quarterbacks. That's another quarterback. And this guy has a great arm. He is super smart. Honestly, he's the most pro-ready of the young quarterbacks. Great arm, great intelligence. The reason why he fell this far, I think, has to do with his lack of athleticism, which a lot of these quarterbacks have, and the accuracy for a first-round quarterback. And the Hardyville Hounds are on the clock, and they select Craig Hope, another quarterback. That is not looking good for our Meridian Miners. Craig Hope was the second quarterback, I would have said. The dude has an absolute arm. Really? Oh my gosh, Jackson! You knew I was recording, dude. Craig Hope is an absolute stud. I mean, the dude's 24 years old, but he left college pretty early. Was 21 years old when he left. Couple years pro. Great arm. Great accuracy. Needs to work on the intelligence aspect. Great personality, though. Pretty agile, my dude is. He even though he's not blazing fast because of that size, the dude's pretty strong and pretty agile. Think of a cheap man's Ben Roethlisberger. The dude's a great quarterback, but he's a cheap man's Ben Roethlisberger with the personality of Marcus Mariota, is how I would describe it. Alright, and now the Albany Ambitions. And they select Johnny Quinn. Johnny Quinn is a very much West Coast quarterback. Fairly smart, fairly accurate. Personalities all over the place. I don't think he's the right pick here, because he's not going to wow people. You're going to get a safe pick here. But he's not a good leader at all. I would say he's the worst leader of any of these young quarterbacks. And I just don't get it. I mean, I guess he has the speed, so maybe you can use that. I don't get it. It's a huge question mark pick for me. And the Bar None Bison are the last ones, and they select Lester Mason. Lester Mason is the literal definition of Johnny Quinn on steroids. And I don't mean that in a good way. I mean weaker arm, more intelligence, more accuracy, less leadership. I will say, in his defense, he is easily the most competitive player I've ever seen. He is one of the highest work ethics. The dude's might be selfish, but the dude is going to do whatever it takes to be the best guy he can be. If you got this guy at any other position, especially like a wide receiver, that kind of personality would be amazing. But I just don't get that pick either. I get quarterbacks are flying everywhere, but that's one I wouldn't pick up. His arm is so weak. There are literally, I believe, players that aren't quarterbacks with better arms than him, at least in terms of arm strength. I don't get it. And with more leadership, probably. But now the Bar None Bison have another pick, and hopefully they pick something good here. And they pick a running back. Makes sense. If you don't pick a running back here, it's a huge question mark. Because, well, I mean, your guy is a weak-armed quarterback. You're going to want someone who can catch the ball short and make big plays off of that. And that's definitely what Patrick O'Keefe is. The dude is fairly strong, being 5'11", 221. Fairly agile. The dude is blazing straight line speed. Think Derrick Henry, Leonard Fournette, those big bumbling running backs. But when they're going straight down the sideline, they got jets. The dude's also got great hands for running back, which is very smart of them to do. I mean, I don't know if that's what I would go with, but it's the pick you have to make if you're going to select Lister Mason in the first round. So I don't question the pick. The Albany Ambition select a safety. They select John McFarland. And can we just say, easily one of the best center fielding safeties in the league right now? I mean, I know we're only 2 rounds in, but he is going to be a great center fielder for 5+ years. The dude's got blazing speed, blazing agility, and his intelligence is alright. He's got great disposition, great sportsmanship. He's definitely not going to be the leader of your defense, but as long as you get like a middle linebacker or even really any position on defense, like as long as you get one leader, John McFarland not being a leader or team player, who cares? The team player thing might bite you in the butt a little bit when you're talking about a center fielding safety, because maybe he'll try to make the big play rather than deflect or help a teammate out. And that could be an issue, but, I mean, with the interceptions and fumbles that can happen, fumble recoveries with him, you potentially could get a making up of that lack of team playerness. Now the Hardyville Hounds are on the clock, and they select Howard Goforth, which, by the way, is very fitting. Go forth, young man. At 26 years old, the dude's freakishly athletic. We're just going to edit something real quick. There we go. Oh. Howard Goforth, a very small running back, but the dude is freakishly athletic in terms of speed and agility. He's a great leader, by the way. I don't know about everything else, but the dude wants to play and he wants to be a leader. Now we got the Stampede on the clock. And the Salt Lake City Stampede select Charles Rutherford. We're not really getting too many surprises here. We saw a safety, a tackle, a D-tackle, and a guard. But other than that, it's been quarterbacks and running backs. Charles Rutherford. Dude, just blazing fast. He is blazing fast. Maybe not agile. Maybe he's not like, he's a do-it-all running back, honestly. He's okay in terms of agility. The dude can bowl over you. The dude actually has some experience playing fullback, not just halfback. He is very experienced in terms of halfback, believe it or not. But he's actually alright at the whole fullback thing. His speed is straight line. He could easily be one of the fastest running backs in the league. But he's yoked. The dude's yoked, Charles Rutherford is. But now we have the Orbit and then OUR Miners on the clock. And Nicholas Fowler has been selected. And he's going to be another one of these running backs you see in the league. A lot of these running backs were brought in because they do the one thing in the name: running. These guys might not be the greatest running backs in the world. For example, Nicholas Fowler, not exactly the most experienced running back. He's got decent hands, not strong at all. But the dude's got agility and speed, and that's what a lot of these teams are looking for when they get these guys. They want the fastest and most agile, definitely fastest, players they can find that aren't on an NFL roster, that aren't complete garbage, basically. And now we got the Meridian Miners on the clock, and there's quite a few questions to be made on what are they going to do here. There's some running backs available that could be quite interesting, like Adam Leon, William Hawthorne. there's a guy that's super talented that hasn't gone yet in Barry Reuter. The dude's got some speed to him. He's great run blocker, great pass blocker, fairly strong. But where do you go here? There's also Gordon, as in Alan Gordon, who is a do-it-all kind of linebacker. He can cover, he can pass rush, he can run, he can do it all. You also have James Wilson, who is a monster running back. For his size, he's pretty dang strong, believe it or not. We also have, potentially, maybe another tackle in John Holiday. There's Battle, as in Nicholas Battle, who is... I don't know how to describe it. Dude kind of does it all. But he's not exactly great. There's also a Mark George. He's a great team player, great disposition. Dude has pretty good hands. He's pretty athletic. Always someone to look at. There's also wide receiver Thomas McFadden, who is amazing hands. He's a very, Julian Edelman, but taller. Maybe not the best team player, maybe not the best leader. Great work ethic, pretty competitive, great sportsmanship. I think Thomas McFadden could be the guy. There's also cornerback John Caldwell. He's got some hands. I guess you could say they're hands. He's very fast, great agility. He's a press corner. He's got the size, very experienced, 22 years old. I think John Caldwell could be the guy even. There's Runyon, as in Brett Runyon, who's, again, kind of a do-it-all guy. Great leader, even though he's only 21. There's also Thomas Bartlett. I don't know how to describe him exactly. The dude's very slow. Great tackler, though. Very strong and fairly agile. But he's so slow, I don't know if I'd recommend it. There's also Joe Berman. Great run blocker. 24 years old. Not exactly that strong, though, is the issue. There's also Duke. Thomas Duke. Very strong guy. Can tackle it a little bit. There's also Robertson. James Robertson. Strong arm. But if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to draft Robertson, I'm going to draft a receiver first if I'm him. Maybe a Lewis Baldwin. Lewis Baldwin, I think, could be the guy to go. 6'1", 185. Needs to work on the hands a little bit. Maybe not the most agile guy, but the dude's got straight line speed. He is scary fast. He gets the ball, and it could be touchdown city. Like that. But I don't know if I draft him yet either. I think if you're going for a wide receiver early, you go for McFadden. The dude's going to get you that first down every single time. I think of like a Larry Fitzgerald kind of player, but I'm talking like Larry Fitzgerald now, not Larry Fitzgerald back then. Or an Edelman type. I don't know. I'd go Thomas McFadden, but it's really up to them. And this just in, I called it Thomas McFadden. Thomas McFadden, welcome to the team. And we got to take a quick recap to see how many picks they've got to wait. They're in the unfortunate position of 6-7, so they're in the middle of every round. But we're going to finish the second round, and then we'll cut to the next minors pick. We'll start going to the picks of the minors, because I don't think you guys really care. And then we'll look at the teams afterwards and go from there. But for right now, the Columbus Colonials select James Robertson. Oh no, they're not getting their guy. James Robertson has a absolute cannon arm. The dude's got a great arm, really does. Again, I feel like he has the same issue of some other quarterbacks that are borderline NFL talents in this league. The intelligence isn't necessarily there. Something's missing. But with James Robertson, the main thing is his intelligence. And genuinely, he's super slow. He's not going to outrun anything. But I think the thing that was the turning point for him not making the NFL, even though besides the fact that he's from a smaller college, is the fact that he has got a lot of issues. The guy is not seen as a good teammate. He's not a good leader. He's not a hard worker. The guy's just naturally gifted, and he wants that to carry him all the way, and it won't work. It really won't work. Maybe if they build a good team around him, it'll cover for that aspect, and maybe he can make those deep plays enough that it'll carry him. I don't know. But for right now, the Seaford Statesmen are on the clock, and they select Adam Leon. And I've got to say, Adam Leon, oh boy, you're getting a guy that a lot of running backs are like this. But Adam Leon, for his age and his talent level, whoo, man, can he bust a play open. And then you got to look at the other Statesman players. They have Jared Mead, the run stopper, in the first round. They want you to have to throw the ball, whether you like it or not. They're going to take up as much time as possible and give you very few opportunities to run the ball, to throw the ball. They're not letting you control the clock. They're controlling the clock kind of situation. Now the Ralston Rivermen are on the clock, and they select Neil Banks, the first edge rusher. It's kind of surprising that an edge rusher took this long to fall. And I don't even know if necessarily I'd consider Neil Banks an edge rusher, even though he is a DN. He's got speed to him. He's got strength to him. I wouldn't necessarily call him an edge rusher. He can play edge. And I'm going to do a lot of NFL comparisons to help you guys out. Think a very cheap man's Aaron Donald, where he could play on the edge if he wanted to, or if you need him to. But would you want him to? Probably not. He's got a great personality in terms of working. He's not going to lead your team, and he's going to focus on himself. But if you're talking about you want a player that's going to day in and day out work his butt off, even if it's just for himself, that's him. The Big Horns of Boulder City select William Hawthorne as another running back goes, and it's William Hawthorne, speed demon galore. Another speed demon, maybe not as agile, pretty good hands. The guy's got a good work ethic, but 24 years old, super talented. You're getting a lot of these running backs can bust plays open, and that's the one thing that'll be exciting. There's a lot of guys on this draft that may not be the most pro-ready, but they can make huge plays. And now the Austin Gunners are on the clock, and they select Marcus Gregory. Finally, another quarterback goes off the clock. This entire round, besides James Robertson, there was no other quarterback. But Marcus Gregory goes, and he's an interesting character. He can kind of do it all. He's got a pretty good arm, an above average intelligence, and an okay accuracy. His personality, though, it's garbage. It's why no one in any other league is considering him. He has a good work ethic, sure, but he's not very competitive. He's not a team player. He's not a leader. He's definitely not a sportsman. In fact, he tried to punch another player on his team, by the way. On his team. It's just a bad situation. But now the Sanford Sailors are on the clock, and they select Chester Collado. Chester Collado. A tight end is off the board. And can I say, I'm not upset about this. The dude's a great receiving tight end. He's got enough strength to block, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's a good blocker. I definitely wouldn't trust him to run block. I would say you could have him block during play action potentially, but the guy's more of a downfield, I don't know. I'd say he's more of a pass blocker. But here's the thing. The guy has a lot to learn in terms of playing in football intelligence. He knows how to play tight end, but he needs to learn how to read coverages so that he can find the open spot. Not the most agile tight end, which, I mean, the dude's 6'8". He's pretty fast. The dude's got great hands. He's 6'8", and he's got pretty good hands, which is nice. He's got great work ethic. He's a great sportsman. He might not be the best leader, but he's not horrible at it. He's not going to negatively impact your team, personality-wise. But he's a very serviceable tight end. And with the Sailors picking Colin Wickham, if you forgot, Colin Wickham, who has dead accuracy, I can see it. They might not be the most electric team, but they're going to be a very solid team, and they got a pick right up next. In fact, we're going to see who they pick just because I'm interested to see who they would want to add, and they add Buford Chapman. And Buford Chapman is a player with decent hands. He's fairly strong. He's very fast. Great personality. The big knock on him is that he is the least agile running back I've ever seen. This guy could be in the NFL if it wasn't for his agility. This guy makes Tom Brady and DK Metcalf look agile. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, we'll cut to the Miners pick and inform you on that right after this.
I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you.